Charlie is, it's a Vietnam joke, Charlie, with a Viet Cong. And my friend's dad was in Vietnam. They used to joke about it a lot. Charlie in the trees. Anyway, there's all kinds of shit that I've talked about in videos, and then it ends up getting cut because it's not part of what I'm talking about in the video, so I'll just snip it out. But there's shit that I need to talk about, mainly just bitch about, and other stuff. As far as I've had people commenting on or sending me messages about my swearing or commenting. You know what? I've been in positions in my life where I was on the radio and I couldn't control my mouth back then on the radio. So I'm not gonna censor myself because somebody decides that I've got a dirty mouth. Just go watch somebody else's videos, cool? There's a lot of shit going on within this. Everything is splintered, whether it's politics or, you know, whether it's politics, social issues, whatever. It's splinter, divide, infighting, splinter, and divide. It's an old, the FBI and other agencies have been doing this to people for years. Different organizations, COINTELPRO, you know, all that. But it's a tactic. And I'm not saying that the FBI is involved in this at all. What I'm saying is the division within different groups of people is just, it's growing and growing and growing. And you get these people now everybody's a fucking perp. If I joke around about something and think it's funny, you know, people start calling you a fucking perp. Everybody's a fake TI. You know, it just goes on and on. If I don't say the right things, if people don't say the right things, like, these people are horrible, look what they're doing. Well, you know what? I haven't let them none of this shit has destroyed me as a person. So I'm not gonna sit there and rant on and on about how terrible these people are. I know that I've known my entire life that there are terrible people out there, for fuck's sake. But, you know, all this fucking fake TI shit and fucking everybody's a perp. Everybody's not a perp. Your neighbors, and this is the reason why I put these videos out. I put them out for people, hoping that people that are first hit and are under that initial stage of just freak out and bewilderment, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, see these before they see some of the fucking batshit paranoid fucking videos. And maybe that will bring them back down before they take off into some crazy fucking mindset where they do something stupid or whatnot. Anyway, it's not your neighbors. It's not the dude down the street. It's not the fucking cop driving by. None of these people are involved in this. Somebody wants you to think that. So hopefully, in a fit of rage from whether it's not being able to sleep or you've been V2K'd to death or whatever, that you freak out and do something stupid, and you're probably going to do it to somebody who you think is doing it. So, you know, they're hoping that somebody does something fucking batshit crazy. And it's perpetuating bullshit when people are believing that their neighbors and these people are involved. They're not involved. These people are nowhere near you. No one's pointing anything at you. It's 2018. I mean, back in the day, in the 70s when they were using this on people. Late 60s and 70s, there were people that were hit. I'll get into that later too, but those people probably needed to be within a certain vicinity or needed to be rigged up in some way or another. Now, they sensitize your ass and you're plugged in from, you know, however far it is away. And that can be anything from shocks to whatever. And it's piggybacking on your power lines. You're surrounded by it in your home. It's piggybacking on cell phone signals. It's piggybacking on wireless signals, smart meters. Smart meters go right through your power lines. That's why when you enter your house, your symptoms will change. You might get blasted with tinnitus right when you walk into your house, or you might get cramps, but if you pay attention, things are different in your home than they are when you're out and about doing stuff. And that's not because, you know, there's a group of assholes in an apartment building across the street or in a van pointing shit at you through your windows. People have to stop thinking like that. All that does is amp up the paranoia more that there's people around you, you know? And it works, and it's working on people. People are like fucking so fucked up from this that going back, like if you joke around, if you don't say the right things, if you're not a fucking paranoid, if you haven't been ran over by this program like a steamroller and you're just schizoid now, like some of these people are, then you're a fucking perp or you're a fake perp. And that shit's gotta fucking stop, man. It's over the top, batshit crazy. People need to start looking at this logically, scientifically, and start working on fucking ways, trying things to see what does it, other than, and I'm not ripping on the people that have invented scatter frequencies and all that. That's cool, right? But that's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid for a bigger problem. And what you need to do is get rid of the symptoms. And in my case, I have. You know, I've said it a million times, but I've got skin issues here and there. And I've got tinnitus that comes and goes. And compared to what I used to have, I'll take it any day. So I don't need a scatter frequency. I don't need this. I don't need to sleep in an EMF, you know, tent. Fucking any of that shit. But, I mean, it would probably do everybody in the world good if they did, but I don't need it. It's not gonna keep me up all night if I don't, or drive me crazy. But people need to start looking at this differently, all right? Now, think about this, and really think about it. Put yourself in the position and think about it. If your refrigerator came on, which it does, what, 100 times a day? Something like that? You don't even hear it anymore, right? If your refrigerator came on 100 times a day and you don't notice it at all, you don't care, you don't notice it, or you got a grandfather clock in your house, and that clock goes off when people stay at your house, it drives them nuts because it wakes them up every 15 minutes or half an hour or every hour, depending on how you have it set. You know, noises like that are great examples, and they're very important. Imagine if you were convinced that your refrigerator was being controlled by somebody that was turning it on and off to annoy you. Every time that fridge came on, you would hear it and you would get angry. And it would get you angrier and angrier, even though it's a completely benign sound. It's just a hum, and it's releasing electromagnetic fields. But it would drive you batshit. You'd be getting angrier and angrier. And every time it came on, you'd be hyper aware of it, and you would hear it. Now, go back and think about the fact that you're sitting there and it comes on 100 times a day and you don't even hear it. And that's how you have to start thinking. But the only way to think that way is to realize that nobody is circling your house. They're not fucking coming into your house. It's an illusion. It's a trick. Now, I'm not saying that somebody doesn't ever come into your house. There are agencies that break into people's houses all the time. But they sensitize you to it. If it did happen to you, it was probably happening for a week, 2 weeks, or a month. And once you're sensitized to it, it stopped. And the rest is an illusion. If you are being put through that, it's an illusion. So the whole refrigerator, scenario, if you don't think that it's this thing that's out to get you, it's not going to affect you at all. You're not going to hear it. If you haven't let it push you into becoming hyper aware, or if you are hyper aware, bring yourself back down. That's how they keep people stuck in this illusion. It's a magic trick. So everything that happens, they're like, oh my God, this is going on. They did this, they did that. And it works, because it makes people look batshit fucking crazy. And it has driven some people batshit crazy. Because when I see them going off, talking about other people or fake this, fake that, fucking perps this, perps that. Everybody isn't a perp, people. It's a magic fucking trick. And I'm saying this for your own good. And I'm saying this so that anybody who's first become aware of this and they're looking for information, this is how you do it. I've been telling people this for a long time and trying to tell people, anybody that would listen, because everybody thinks theirs is different. No, mine's different, right? Mine's different than this. I'm not like this. Well, mine's kind of like that, but mine's different. Dude, I thought the same fucking thing in the beginning. I was like, yeah, mine's like that, but I don't have this or this, and I've got this going on, but this is different. This is totally different. And it fucking wasn't different. The longer it went on, the more I realized that it's all the fucking same. It's the same. And when you're in that state of mind, you think it's different, and it's not, believe me. Or you think that you don't have anything on your skin. You think that sounds fucking crazy. But after like your fourth, you start detoxing your body, and after like that fourth bath or whatever, shit'll start fucking falling off your fucking skin and peeling off. It's fucking invisible. I thought I had early age spots. There's like this young dude with I had like these, they look like liver spots on my hands. And I had one on my lower stomach too. And I was like, what the fuck? I got like early age spots. What'd I do? Fucking, do shots of Jaeger until my fucking body was so damaged that I've got liver spots this young, And sure as shit, when I started detoxing and cleansing my body, that shit came off. And they were on there for like a year, but otherwise they were invisible, except for it looked like I had these spots. But it just peeled right the fuck off, like a fucking sunburn. But I didn't think, I would have, if I wouldn't have broke out initially when I did, before that, it was there, but I didn't realize that there was anything on my skin. It was fucking invisible. So, point is it's all the same. It's the same program. It's the same thing. Yours isn't different. I'm saying this to help you. Keep your sense of humor. You know, there was this recording that I made where I was recording my house during a really heavy period. Like, where it was, the audio was really, it was really overt. Like, anybody that was coming into the house was getting ringing in their ears and hearing, you know, weird clicks and pops coming from the walls and shit. But I was recording, and there's this goofy demon that I called the Fat Albert demon that was like, you know, was like laughing and said like, I have the 7 something now, some bullshit. And it was like this demon voice, but it sounded like Fat Albert, like, hey, hey, hey. And I'm joking about it. And these people are like freaking out, going, you know, you're a fucking perp. That's not funny. You know, and it is fucking funny. It's funny as fuck. Because somebody tried that hard to scare somebody, and that was the best they fucking had. That was the best they had. Was this fucking cheesy, goofy, corny, fucking Hollywood demon sound that was ridiculous. And it was totally stupid and totally awesome at the same time, because it just makes them it makes the people that design these sounds and all this shit just look that much more out of touch. You know, I know 1,000 people that could do sound and create stuff that would be way more effective, which starts making you think, you know, what is this? Is this something else? Because the first thing this thing does, the audio, is it learns the sounds of your house. It's like a bug, but it's an AI bug in the sense that it's learning your voice. It's learning the people around you. It's learning their voices, your visitors. It's learning the sound of your toilet, the sound of your faucet, the sound of your doors shutting, the sound of your storm doors shutting, the sound of your TV, the sound that it makes when you close your laundry lid, the sound, every sound, your silverware clanking together, where it's at. It learns everything. And what does that do? So you're gonna start really getting a grip on this if you're looking at it scientifically. What it's doing is it's learning every sound of your house, because if it knows every sound of your house, and every one of those on AI is logged. So sound of silverware, sound of toilet, sound of sink, sound of bathroom sink, sound of kitchen sink. It knows what you're doing at all times. Right? Okay, so now, these people that have been ran over by this program think that, you know, it's looking through me, it's looking at me all the time, when in fact, through your power lines and through these wireless signals, it can record, and as quick as a telephone, it knows you're near, let's say, your living room window. So then you've got comments about your living room window, comments about being near your living room window. That's happened to people. You know, comments about, you know, just these kind of like really vague, cold reading type comments about what you're doing, what you're around, to give you this sense that you're being watched all the time, right? And you're not. It's AI. AI. And it doesn't really take good AI. Old video games use this AI. It's just not wireless, being sent through the air. It's just a it's a cheap magic trick. So yeah, where was I? I was talking about the fact that this is just one big fucking magic trick. This AI is learning the sounds of your house. That's why a lot of people think they have haunted houses, doors slamming, this and that. And I was saying in a roundabout way that if you didn't think that any of these noises were intentional and trying to annoy you, they wouldn't annoy you. Your refrigerator doesn't bother you. You don't even hear it. If you thought somebody was purposely doing it to you, you would go fucking batshit. So it's all in the mind. It's your attitude towards it. And these people that are fucking all revved up, ran the fuck over by this program, go batshit when you're not fucking as paranoid and fucked up as they are. That's what this has come down to. So unless you're fucking going crazy and thinking that your fucking neighbor is doing this to you and calling everybody names, and unless you think that everybody is a plant put there, you're a fucking fraud, a perp. It's fucking gone over the fucking edge. It really has. It's gone flat out into fucking Looneyville. And one of the reasons why, that reminded me, one of the reasons why a lot of people that are normies, that aren't aware of this or don't know much about it, the reason why they're walking away going, what the fuck? Like it sounds absolutely crazy to them, is the fact that a lot of these people are mixing and blurring the lines between gangstalking and electronic harassment. People need to stop fucking doing that, dude. Those are two totally different fucking things. And I'm not saying that people don't have both occur to them in their lifetime, but when people are describing this to someone who hasn't experienced anything like this, and they're blurring the lines, talking about how they're being followed, or they're seeing all these cars with one headlight on, and then they hear somebody saying something to them, or somebody is saying something to them, people are walking away going, what the fuck did I just listen to? It sounds fucking crazy. Stop. It needs to stop. That needs to stop. People need to quit blurring the line. When you're talking about electronic harassment, talk about electronic harassment. Say, I am talking about electronic harassment here, or audio harassment, or whatever you want to call it. But when you're talking about gangstalking, talk about gangstalking. You know, I've seen newspaper articles, short documentaries, all this different stuff that blurs the lines between both of them. And I read them as if I didn't know anything about it, you know? And I walked away going, you know, my head was like, what the, you can't even differ. It just sounds schizophrenic. That's what it sounds like. And it's, when you're doing that, you're making yourself seem fucked up, because people can't make heads or tails of it. If you talk about things in a direct, scientific, and logical way, and you talk about electronic harassment, it starts to make sense to people. They can totally get it. If you talked about gangstalking as an individual thing, right? People would start to understand it. It was, you know, it was a Stasi tactic used in East Germany. It was to discredit people, to fuck people up. You know, it's, there's a lot of things that the Russians and the commies and the Bolsheviks did that we're doing now here. That is another 8-hour video, if you want to talk about who's doing what and where, but that's not my thing. Anyway, if you differentiate the two and you're logical about it, scientific, just straightforward, people can get it, dude. A lot of people can get it. Normies can get it. They can wrap their heads around it. What's going on? Why somebody would do it. You know, I think a lot of the reasons why it's being done is not anything like what people think it is. But the reason why it's being done, they need you to pay attention. If you knew the real reason why, you wouldn't care. It wouldn't captivate you. But they need to scare the shit out of you to make you hyper aware. But seriously, start dividing the two in videos and everything. It's obnoxious. It's totally obnoxious. It's just fucked up because it's everywhere and it's blurred. And you know what? It's everywhere in pop culture, and that's what you need to show people. You know, it's everywhere in pop culture and people don't even realize it. And it started in the late 60s, early 70s when it wasn't done completely wirelessly, like when you actually had to go after somebody and set up a stage, if you will, you know, an area where they can be in their home, in their place of work, in their car, whatever, so that they can be fucked with. You know, it was active back then. And I'll tell you who was attacked with it. It's all over pop culture. David Berkowitz, son of Sam. He joined a, whatever you want to call them, a satanic group, and not a Midas Right satanic group. A demon, ghoulie, boogada satanic group, right? Two different things. And that's how he was, you know, they monitor people like that, especially back then. And, you know, when you're doing experiments with people, he'd come right up on the radar as potential. And the reason why is because he was slightly paranoid, agitated, but he was superstitious. He believed in demons. So it's whatever you believe. When someone's an alien freak, you know, and they love outer space, and they start hearing these things happening, they always think it's aliens. It's a choose your own adventure book. You choose your adventure, and they'll take it wherever you take it. So there's Berkowitz. They've got him pegged as a paranoid who would definitely believe that Sam Hain was the demon communicating with them. And they got to him, set him up, told him to go out and kill. And he did. And they let it happen. They let it fucking happen. So, you know, he killed X amount of people until the cops figured it out and arrested him. And then, you know, it happened, I'm sure, a bunch of different times after that. But then, you know, that was 77. Let's go back further. Let's go to, you know, the DeFeos, the first Amityville family. You had the DeFeos who were being monitored by various, who admitted that they were watching the DeFeo family heavily. So they targeted the boy because he was a drug user, right? And he heard, at one point, he heard his family whispering and plotting to kill him. Right now, that is the same fucking thing that Myron May heard when he was after his back pain, when he was first targeted, and I think he was at his girlfriend's apartment, and he heard them plotting, whispering and plotting what to do with him. That was the same thing, the same exact thing. So, DeFeo, you know what happens? He fucking freaks out, kills the whole fucking family. And then the Lutz move in. Now this is, I just said this a couple minutes ago, this is back during a time when they needed to set your house up, have it rigged like a fucking haunted house, you know, to get at you. The DeFeos go through their shit, then the Lutz family buys the house, get a big discount, move in, They got a place to put their boat, all that good stuff. They start hearing what? Fucking voices, whispering voices. There's a substance that's showing up in the house. It's not demonic. I've got a myriad of pictures of this stuff that's been sprayed in the home, that's on things, that gets on things, that seems to almost come out of things. Because it's all electromagnetic. You can do anything with electromagnetics. Research it. With electromagnetic waves, with pulsed frequencies, you can do a myriad of things with them. If you've got more than one, you can do, it would appear to be magic. So, you know, the Lutz family goes through this whole haunted house motherfucking thing. Doors slamming, shit going down, people looking weird. It's all the same thing. So that happened to them. It's in pop culture everywhere. All these fucking people that are freaking out. There's that Rahani Visar. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I haven't looked at her name in a while. She's Canadian. She started emailing people, asking them about advanced technology and saying, I don't feel like myself. Something's going on, you know. So what does she do? She freaks out, fucking stabs some chick in some underground mall in Toronto, ends up in jail for the rest of her life for stabbing somebody, freaking out, because the people like that can't handle it, that don't have as strong of a constitution or aren't as tough mentally, feel like they need to do something radical to get somebody's attention about this. So that happens with her. You've got case after case. I've got so many. I'm going to do a video and just compile them all so people can see. And once you see, you're like, holy shit. Like all these shooter dudes that are freaking out, that do stupid shit. You know, like the thing with Myra May is just absolutely batty to me. That this guy he knew what was going on, and yet he went to a place where there were just a bunch of innocent people walking around. You know, that's weird, man. But these people are doing it. But when you, there was a funny thing. It said these shrinks. I was looking on Google about stuff, and it said these shrinks have looked at it, and they're saying, "Wow, there's a real common thread of abuse with these shooters. You know, they've been abused." And it's like, what the fuck are you fucking talking about? Abuse. These shrinks are like fucking unbelievable. When you look at it, that's why they don't talk about it in the news. Every one of them went from normal, maybe they were loners, whatever, but they went from non-schizoid to the only psychotic symptom they have that's schizophrenic is they hear demons and they shoot people. They freak out and shoot people, right? What? Come on, dude. That's your symptom. So you don't think that there's anything fucking weird that all these people that are quote-unquote schizophrenic, the only schizophrenic symptom they have is they start to hear voices out of nowhere. And most of them are like in their 30s and 40s, which didn't happen before. Schizophrenia hit people, you know, between like 17, 18, and like your late 20s. At the latest, your late 20s, it never happened with people. And if you talk to schizophrenic people, like real schizophrenics, they're so disassociated, and everything is so fragmented that anything you're talking about, they're picking up and weaving in to the conversation. You know, it's just like a constant snowball of taking every fragmented thing around them and snowballing them into one thing. And that's just not who these people are. These people are totally different. Most of them were fucking, you know, you got lawyers, you know, college kids, neuroscientists. James Holmes was hit with this thought. The TV was reading his thoughts, which he would have, if he wouldn't have done what he did, he would eventually have figured out what was going on and really honed in on it. But he freaked out and started, doing shit, and got himself set up. Well, they were using him as a pawn in this whole gun versus the people of the United States thing, which they're doing all the fucking time. But anyway, you know, these people go from normal to schizophrenic overnight, but the only symptom they have is voices. And that's the one symptom that only severe schizophrenics had. So come on, man. Just come on. And if you research the years where this happened, this didn't happen before, then it started to happen. Then you had these crazies through the 70s. It snowballed. More crazies through the 80s. And then you had the going postal thing, which was, you know, the guy was a target. And it just keeps going and going. And it's happening all the time. Like if you research just crimes or weird things that happen to people, and those people thought somebody was in their home, for example. Because, as I said earlier, it's learning the sounds of your home and can, you know, really scare the shit out of people, you know? So, either they would have thought it was going to be a ghost, or they would have thought that people were in the house, or something similar. They thought people were in the house, and then like took off, and then you like never see them again, or never hear from them again, or they do something crazy after that, or something fucking happens every time. It's all related. It's all the same thing. And it's batshit. But people need to look at it fucking logically. God damn, I can't say it enough. For like new people that are experiencing this, they need to look at it logically and scientifically and keep their feet on the fucking ground, and eventually you'll laugh it off, basically, because it's fucking ridiculous, and it really is a choose your own adventure. If I decide tomorrow that anything that happened to me was fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, it's him, he did it, would play on that. It would start to play on that and reinforce that idea until somebody believes it. I've read some chick saying, I swear to God, she was saying that Duran were the people that were targeting her, and the song, I don't know, The Reflex, that's what it was a song all about targeting people. And I was like, whoa, what? It's like almost interesting, you know? So, you know, that's somehow she thought about that, and then it was reinforced. She's got to figure it out, you know? And she didn't, but she believes it, and that is how they get you. That is how they get you. It's just batshit. But I needed to rant about some of that shit. Keep it rational. Keep it fucking rational. And keep your feet on the ground. And keep your sense of humor, no matter what. So keep it together. You know, don't let this kind of shit take you too far out. It exists. The technology is there. People are being tormented with it. And it's a bad fucking thing. But if they didn't think that they could get away with it, they wouldn't do it. And that's why, another reason why, they don't give gangs and criminals and motherfuckers this technology to fuck with people. People need to knock that shit the fuck off. But, okay, so some criminal, some degenerate fucking criminal's got it, right? And he lives in the ghetto, right, with his criminal buddies, and they've got this technology, and they're running around fucking with people, and then someone breaks in and fucking steals it, right? Then what happens? So come on, this is fucking compartmentalized down to like, there's a pocket of people, dude. There is a pocket of people that are rocking this shit and know what's up, and the dumbasses that are running around, you know, working on power lines, working on phones, working on technology. But the people building the technology have no fucking clue. 99% of them have no fucking clue what's going on. So that's it. See you later.